I'm Lori Williams, and I'm here today with Corrine and Terry, and we're going to,
Morning.
Morning.
and this is week two of our August session of Explored Mixed Media, where this month we are looking at artists from the 1900s. Last week we talked about Sonia Delaunay and did a really fun project from that. Several of you watched and posted out on the group, so we appreciate that. That was really good to see everyone's um, take on last week's session. Today, we're going to be discovering another artist. Her name is Anne Ryan. And I'm not going to go into a long description of who she is. We're going to jump into what we're doing because last week we didn't have enough time because we talked too much about the artist. So what I'm going to do is introduce her as we're working and talk about things about her. So before I do that, though, real quick, she was a collage artist in the first half of the 1900s. She didn't get started till she was 58 years old. So she has very limited works out there, but she is widely renowned, and she has art represented in some of the most famous museums in the country. So let's get started. I'm going to take my camera, point it down, and we'll talk about what we're going to do today.
Okay.
All right. Wish my chair wouldn't squeak. Sorry. So Anne Ryan, she was self-taught. She didn't start until she was 54 years old. When in her younger years, she was a poet and a novelist. She wrote two novels, and she had three children. She raised her children, and it was after that that she kind of found herself and found her love for art and creating. And she got it really entrenched in the Greenwich Village at the time, where a lot of artists were up and coming in I would say the 1930s through the 19 she passed away in 1954, so through that time frame there, which I know a lot of art was going on in Greenwich Village, and a lot of discovery and new techniques and stuff. And so she became a collage artist. She fell in love with collage, and she worked with textiles, things with texture, textured papers, homemade papers, and she just made collage representations, um, compositions, and most of her work was small. And she worked a lot of times on handmade um, papers. She would make hand make her papers, and then she would do her collages on top, and they were typically small pieces. So today we're going to work with fabrics and textures, and we're going to do collage and composition. I don't have any handmade paper, so I decided I'd just use my little journal that I create and sometimes, and I would start here. So what I did is I painted my pages here this blue because I had pulled out some fabrics that I wanted to work with collage wise. And what I decided to do is I was going to take this one and inspire off of it. So the colors and everything that are in it. And I'm just going to position these into a composition on here, just using some heavy gel. I also have some mulberry paper, which is a textured paper with it has, some grains and stuff, and it's really interesting stuff. And I found this little kit of just little cutout scraps of mulberry paper, which is going to work perfect for this. I have some quilting fabrics. So this was part of the quilting fabrics, and then because it came in a set, everything's kind of coordinated, which is kind of nice because that, kind of drives the colors and designs of what I'm putting together here. Um, so Terry and Corrine, what did you guys have in mind?
Well, I know I went through and watched a little video on her. She's a very interesting lady.
Mm-hmm.
Then I decided that what I was going to use was I'm going to go neutrals, which is not me. You
Yeah,
know,
and she did mostly neutral stuff. I noticed when I look at all her work, it's very neutral. I don't know if it was because of what she had to work with at the time, or
or that it faded over the years.
it could have, yes, yeah.
I'm actually not sure which it was, but I thought it would be a challenge for me to go to neutrals.
Yeah.
So what I have here is this is a piece of Bristol board that I did I did a gel plate print on many years ago, and it's an off print, and I didn't continue it. So in honor of her printmaking, I'm doing the gel plate print underneath. It's going to be my background. And then I collected all, same as you, I collected a lot of different mulberry papers in the same group. I collected a little bit of some gel plate prints I've done, and I've collected a lot of different, again, the same thing, almost squares, quilt squares that I like. And then there's this one little piece of material that upholstery material I had. So I am going to go with all of these pieces and see what kind of interesting thing I can create. And again, because she works small, I'm going to do probably an 8 by, this is cut to 8 by 10. So I will do it to 8 by 10. So that's where I'm going.
Awesome.
Okay, and I have a piece of 6 by 6 mat board that I've just gessoed, and it didn't have a lot of fabric, but I do have some of this really cool
Paper.
mulberry papers and kozo papers, and some natural paper. This is mulberry. And yesterday I printed some fabric on the gel plate. So I'm going to use some of that fabric. And I have some texture paper and some sand texture that I've done, some glass beads.
Not
And I'm also gonna use some papers I've made on the gel plate. Oh, and I have some of this, see if I can't use a little bit of this in here too. It's really cool. So I'm gonna stay in the blues and neutrals, and I noticed a lot of her work is a lot of squares and rectangles. So I'm gonna kind of follow that theme. And we'll see where we go.
I love it. Yep. And you guys brought very good points. Like her, if you look at her stuff, it is a lot of squares and rectangles. You don't see a lot of circles. So last week we had an artist that was inspired by circles, and this week,
Circles.
yeah, this week we're talking about squares and rectangles, and next week we're going back to circles. So we're that's fun. So anyway, I'm gonna use matte gel, and I'm just gonna start by, cutting this and just and kind of figuring out how I want to place it. I was thinking that it would be interesting in my case. I'm not saying for you guys to do this. If I just made some marks, and I'm only going to work with this side of the paper because I want to do small, and then I'll do something else over there. But I want to put some contrast down first. Maybe I was thinking a little bit of white and maybe some black or something, just to kind of give the background some more interest.
We'll start with my contrast. So I'm going to get some darks down in a pattern and then start to build from there. This is just, this is actually a medical exam paper.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to melt
It is. Oh,
and melt into the background.
can't wait to see that.
It's fun. It holds up really, I bought some on Amazon. It holds up really well on a gel plate. You do have to be careful when it's wet. That I found that at one point I stuck a fingernail through it. And it does hold up well. Everybody's been talking about it, so of course I had to try it.
Right, have to try it. Yeah, that's what I always do. I always have to try things that everybody talks about. And I may actually use a little bit of a Sharpie here underneath. I'm not really good at grids and squares, so I think I'm gonna just give a little bit of a
Long.
dimension here in some Sharpie underneath everything, because I already have
Ah,
color on here.
mm-hmm.
And
That's a good
so,
idea.
so that I can just kind of think
Exactly.
here a little bit on where I want to put my kind of grids and squares and my focal point and my extra side points, and then we'll see what happens. I used Sharpie in the hopes that it won't get move too much with my
When you start collaging,
when I start collaging over it. I was afraid to use my Posca pens because I or not my Poscas, my other ones, my graphics or the Lyra, because they would move too much. So I'm just kind of going with this because I did notice that she did some really, really interesting pieces. And I'm going to do a bit of overlapping, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I am trying to save, and it's been very difficult. I've been trying to save these like little salvaged edges. So I've been trying to rip my pieces because I really like the little edgy stuff that happens here.
Mhm.
But then I have to go over and iron them, which I've discovered. So now I'm probably going to have to go back over and iron something. But I want a little hint of a dark, and I was trying to decide whether I want to do a bright blue, which might be too much, or whether I want to do this color, or I can use the back. The other thing I thought of is I can use the back of it and keep it really neutral. So I'm thinking
Mhm.
to use the back. We'll see. We'll see how this works. I'm trying to, or maybe I'll, ah, ah. And I used to sew and I used to know how to do all of this, carrying this stuff. And there was a method behind the madness to get the selvages or there it goes. Because it will tear in a straight line. But, well, now I've decided I'm putting okay, now I got to go iron it. I'll be back.
Okay.
Must iron.
That's great. She's gonna iron and sew and
I know.
I'm just gonna try to tear this so I can get these really cool
Well, I'm going
textured
back.
edges.
I feel like I'm going back to when I was very young.
I'm just putting down some black for contrast before I start my collage work real quick.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah. All right, just flip it over here and I'm gonna get started. Okay.
It's not quite where I want it to be.
Well, nothing ever is in collage. So,
Well, I was trying to line up the edges as best I could.
yeah, that is kind of what happens with me too. Sometimes it just doesn't work exactly the way I planned it. And I forgot my collage brush. It's sitting at the studio. I'm always backwards. I really am always backwards. But I'm putting this right down next to, and I guess I've decided to put it right side up. I'm putting this just down on this dark line, and I want the dark to show through a little bit, but I'm going for pretty neutral in my painting, which is way not me. But let's see what happens. And this fabric is interesting because it doesn't go down exactly the way you expect it.
Right.
It's not as polite as paper.
And
Paper,
the thing to consider with, some of the fabrics too, it can Carrie, you brought up a very interesting point. They have dyes, so they're not
yes,
light fast.
yes, they're not going to necessarily be particularly light fast. Now, I would make an effort to use a UV on this, and that may solve part of the problem. I've been putting a lot of my pieces behind UV glass recently for
Yeah.
that specific reason. And I found a reasonably inexpensive place to buy UV glass for my,
Uh-huh.
So I will share that because, you know, most of the UV glass I was looking at was like $10 a sheet for
Wow.
8 by 10, you know, and I can get them for like $3 or $4 and, you know, a sheet. So I, that's to me is a very good price.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I do like that idea. Um, and again, she was very linear in most of her pieces. So I am following that very linear pattern, I think. We'll see how this works.
Yeah. And
Okay.
again, if you missed her name, it's Anne Ryan.
Ryan. And there's two Anne Ryans. So
That's right.
there's another
really?
Anne Ryan from which, as I'm looking at it, and I'm going, look at these bright, bold people figures. And I'm
Hmm.
going, oh no, that's the Anne Ryan from Ireland,
Right.
who is currently still alive and doing shows.
Exactly.
But it's not the same one. I was going, how does this one woman do both of these things as,
Mhm.
you know, as well as she's doing both of these things? And then I realized that
There were two different ones for the same.
there's two different ones, yes.
Yeah.
So that was one of my, oh, uh-huh, that's why it's happening like that.
And you know, and Anne's daughter, I forget her name now, but she also is an artist. And I think
Yes,
I think she actually might still be alive.
yes. So now this piece of particular paper has a lot of texture, or not paper, this is a tapestry. So I am not sure how this is going to, might want to put heavy matte gel on it, how it's going to stay affixed. That is part of the reason why I'm thinking I may end up using some stitchery on it. I have an old upholstery machine somewhere here, so I'm gonna maybe grab that.
My goodness. That's interesting, Terry.
You just have all kinds of stuff.
I do have a, well, the old, actually, it's not really an upholstery. So the story of this machine is many, many years ago when I was married, my then husband bought a boat and then never got in the water. But he wanted me to make all of the cushions for it, which I did.
Right.
And and I borrowed all of this money from my father to buy this $500 at that time sewing machine.
Wow.
Bought the sewing machine, it wouldn't do it.
Oh boy.
Grabbed my grandmother's 1947 Singer little black thing. It
Mhm.
worked perfectly. Worked absolutely perfectly. So that's actually what I have.
Okay.
I have the Singer. So and it works really well. So here I am, kind of just filling in my spaces at the moment, and then I'm going to, my plan is I probably am going to put some paper on top of this other stuff, but I also want to let some of these, I love how these edges show. So like here, I've got this one, but I love this. I love this, the little stuff that's happening in between. So
Mhm.
let me see how this works. And I don't know if you can see this paper. It has really, really, really fine, it's kind of got like a flower print in it, but it's hard to see. It was a little batik thing that I got. And then I'm going to take this and stick it. So for me, these colors are just so not my normal, which is another one of the things I love about looking at how other artists express themselves in paint is studying
Mhm.
what they do and also their color combinations and seeing what it does for me to do that.
Right.
because it does, it makes a real difference for me when I'm looking at something that is not what I call not me, you know?
Yeah.
So,
With this heavy gel, I can't even hardly tell what we're looking at here. Okay.
okay, now that I didn't think enough about. I don't want,
I want this way.
maybe I want it like that. Break that up and go. No, I have that there. You want this there. It's right. Okay, and did I want that there? Did I want that? Oh, I think I want that. So the other thing is which side of the, as I said, which side of the print do I want to use? The bold side or the not bold side
Right.
of the paper?
Good point.
So there's all sorts of choices we can make.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Going bolder than I really thought I was going to go, but that's okay. I'm just going with what I'm.
I'm very happy with blues and neutrals, so
I know you're very happy in blues and
that's
neutrals.
fine.
You are in your happy place with blues and
That's
neutrals.
right. Yeah, I am.
Absolutely, positively, that is where you are. So,
It's funny because, I tend to be always in a lot of color, like colorful stuff.
yes, tend to be very colorful, but
Me
not as
too.
primary as you. You're very primary, Lori, and
Yeah.
pinks and with a lot of pinks in it. And I tend to be more uh, vivid, but not as.
I really like the texture of the mulberry paper.
Yeah, I'm thinking of using that next. I'm also really. Uh, so, so this is a piece of of wallpaper
See what we
stuff
have.
Oh, I
that
like that idea. The wallpaper, right? That's cool.
yeah, because I've got the wallpaper stuff that I use on my gel plate that looks like it's honeycombed. And I
Mhm.
want to put that in there somewhere, but I need more of this light color here happening too. So let me put some of that in here. And I really like this purple stain that was there. I like it. So I'm thinking I want to keep that
Where
too.
is that other paper I had?
I know. And we talk to ourselves all the time.
Yes, we do.
Right. Okay. Now I'm looking at this and I'm needing a little bit of I have to figure out what I'm doing up there. Got this and I got this. I got 3 of these. The other easy like shorthand is to just use 3 of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for my third somewhere and I'm not quite sure where I want it. Don't want it there. I want it there. That's where I want it. Oh, so just like when you when you're on a gel plate, your matte medium will pull up soften the acrylic and pull it up if you're painting on top of an acrylic here.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, right. Got a piece all over my finger, so I have to work with that a little bit. And I need another grounding something somewhere. And this I still need to fill with something, and then I need my papers. Two. Hmm. Whoops. I think I just hit my. Wondering if that's too bold. I don't like that. So we're actually running out of time again, Lori.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we have 5 more minutes.
I'm like, what is going on? Why are we running out of so much
Because
time?
collage takes time.
Yes, collage does take time.
And we're also kind of ideating as we go. Like we don't have necessarily a set thing that we're doing.
No, we don't.
Right.
And that
So I'm
and
kind of intuitively going as
Exactly.
I build this.
that's kind of where I'm going too. I still have a little bit of an issue over on this side, but I think I'm going to try to pull this in with this little piece of, that's really cool texture. I got to figure out another place to put that really cool texture, which I think is I'm going to put a little piece up here and a little piece over here if I can find it. So now this, I don't know. So I can always paint it a different color later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I like that little piece right there. And I might not hate that white, actually. And I'm going to put a piece right here. Let me bring this piece in and go. Oh, maybe I'll just bring it all the way down. I don't like that very much anyway. Showing through.
Yay, that fits.
Yay, that one fits too, kind of.
I'm
I'm working on it. I'm actually liking most of this.
liking most of this too.
Yeah, this is way fun.
Yeah. It is.
Way fun. Thank you, Laurie. Again,
Yes.
I love these lovely little experiments we're doing. It gets me out of my box
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm already doing and allows me to kind of create with more freedom than I normally do because it'll end up looking like, it's funny because even though in different colors, it'll end up looking like me. And with Laurie, that definitely looks like a Laurie, and yours definitely looks like a Corrine. So as I'm watching all of this occur, I can really see where we kind of work together in this.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Work our own styles into exploring someone else's style.
Right. Exactly. And that's the whole point of this month is to explore with inspiration from others. So,
Right.
well, great. Well, This has been, you guys are looking, your stuff is looking good. Mine's so wet with, it's got so much of the gel medium that needs to dry on top. You can't even really see the colors underneath yet. But I'm not
Mhm.
layers yet. I'm doing a lot of layering.
Right. Well, and I still
Okay.
have to do my, I still have to do my paper layering, and I'm kind of almost thinking of leaving this where I'm just going to put, see, I have this really fabulous looking paper
Oh
right
yeah, you gotta
here.
use that.
You know, I love this
Mhm.
paper. And I'm thinking of leaving this for almost a paper because I really like what happened there.
Mhm.
So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this yet. And I'm going to have to modify that color right there. But most of it is really almost done, I think. Or maybe I want to put this over here. I really like this too. That's a little too light, so I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. I had this idea here, but I'm not sure if that works.
Oh, I like that.
I like that too, come to think of it. Yeah, I think that's where that one's going to go there. And then I'm going to overlay a lot of the papers.
All right. Well, I can't
Where
wait.
I'm going.
I can't
There we
wait to see
go.
your finished work, both of you. So you know, I know you'll post them on the group on Facebook. So
I will.
Absolutely.
and the group on Facebook is Explore Mixed Media. The website is exploremixedmedia.com. And each month we do these projects and experiments where we explore mixed media and techniques. And every month we have a different theme. So if you would like to join us, we do have private sessions, and we also have each month a featured project that you can get access to if you're a patron. So go to the website and check out the details for that. And we would love to see you there. Ladies, thank you today. And we'll see you all next Friday at 11 a.m.
Yeah, next Friday at 11.
11.
They all look pretty
Okay.
good though. I really like them.
Yeah, they're getting.
Yeah.
Green, I love your little dots. Those are your little texture dots in the very middle.
No, this is a piece of the this is
Oh,
Kozo paper.
oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice.
Scored that at a art store this weekend. So
That's
I'm gonna have to
cool. I love
look for
yeah.
that. Okay.
All right. Well,
Okay.
have a good
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.